Here is the summary of the presentation. We are going to start introducing the Spanish regulation of the e-government, the current status in AESA, and some data of the electronic activity in AESA. Second one, we are going to do a high-level revision of an electronic document lifecycle. Third one, we are going to talk about the evolution of the digitalization in AESA. Finally, we are going to talk about some innovations projects in AESA related to digitalization processes. There is a regulation in Spain that provides the citizen with the rights to establish a relationship with the public administration electronically. This regulation gives a strong boost to electronic processing compared to the traditional one. Among all the aspects it deals with, we can highlight an authentication and e-signature framework, electronic documents, electronic identifications, electronic registry. All public organizations must comply with the regulation, but so far, not all have been able to implement all the requirements in the regulation, due mainly to lack of resources. But currently, all of the public organizations provide an electronic channel to allow citizens to perform different requests. Although the regulation has not been implemented completely in AESA, most of its requirements are met, allowing citizens to have all the advantages provided for them in the law. In AESA, the electronic document is fully compliant with the current regulation and is used in the majority of the administrative procedures, so the use of printed papers is marginal. During this session, we will explain the electronic document lifecycle in AESA. Here are some data that can give you an idea of the growth experience in AESA with regards to the electronic public administration. The activity in the electronic registry has grown 124% in 2020, and it is expected to grow by 273% in 2021. As you can see, the growth is larger this year, and this has been primarily due to the new regulation introduced in 2021 regarding to the unmanned aircraft system. In this chart, you can see the growth in electronic notifications. The forecast for 2021 is more than double of the previous year. The volume of electronic documents managed by AESA, that includes both entries and generated documents, is increasing considerably. This means that we will have to adapt our storage platform to this volume, but at the same time, the storage for written documents is decreasing. In this section, we will show a generic life cycle of electronic documents from the time the citizen makes a submission until the agency issues the approval or reject. There are two main agents. On one side, we have the citizen that establishes an electronic relationship with AESA through the electronic office. On the other hand, we have the civil servants in the back office. The typical flow consists of an initial request processing of that request, notification of the results, and validation of the documents issued by AESA. In the next slides, we are going to explain the general flow. In the step A, the citizen makes an electronic request that may have additional documentation attached. The citizen signs electronically this request with an electronic certificate that is fully compliant with the Spanish public administration. This request is recorded in the electronic registry, and after that a receipt is issued to the citizen. The use of the electronic signature and the electronic registry guarantees integrity, authenticity, and non-repetition. The electronic registry makes sure that the citizen has submitted the request as he would have done it in person. The request is routed to the team that is going to process it. In the step B, we represent a generic inspection process that consists of an initial evaluation of the request, an inspection, management of non-conformities, and a final approval or reaction. Some of these steps may require an electronic signature of one or more people. These signatures are managed in the Digital Signature Manager application. In the step C, the agency issues an electronic notification to the citizen. The notification contains an unique secure code for validation. This notification is signed by the AESA electronic certificate and it is recorded in the electronic registry. Once the citizen receives the notification, it can be accepted or rejected. With this unique secure code, the citizen can access the electronic document in AESA electronic office and verify that the copy is identical to the original document which is in AESA back office. We have two different tools in AESA to manage the signature process by the civil servants. On one hand, we have the Digital Signature Manager, in which different flows can be implemented, and it's integrated with the rest of applications in AESA. On the other hand, there is a signature platform responsible of validating the signatures. When the citizen initiates a process with AESA, there are two systems for the identification and the electronic signature. One of them is Clave, that is provided by the Spanish public administration and includes several methods of identification and signatures like Clave PIN and Clave Permanente. The other system is E4 Foreigners that has been developed by AESA for foreign citizens from both the European Union and outside that cannot access Clave. As we have seen previously, AESA has a high level of digitalization, and this is due to the IT strategy. We are going to review briefly the path we have followed and the processes we involve in this digital transformation. The IT strategy has to take into account these building blocks that you can see in the slide. These building blocks have allowed the agency to be almost fully paperless, and it has permitted its civil servants to work remotely during the pandemic. In the block of procedure simplification, most of the procedures of AESA were analyzed and simplified to their basic steps. We have identified 8 guidelines procedures from which all the procedures can be constructed. We have implemented these 8 guideline procedures in our platform, and they form the base for any other new procedures that needs to be implemented. In the block of procedure digitalization, we have built an electronic government architecture and platform, which allows to digitalize processes in a cheaper and faster way. It's a complete framework that covers all the document lifecycle and that is compliant with interoperability guides and regulation and the standards of the electronic archive, where all the documents are stored securely in a compatible format, so that other national public sector organizations can have access to them if required. With all these entries, AESA was in a very good starting point regarding digital transformation. When the pandemic hit and almost all procedures had to be processed online, we had the ability to quickly deploy procedures in our electronic office. We were able to implement around 5 procedures per week, which also involved the change management both internally and externally. In the block of digital services, we are continuing to implement new electronic procedures, and any citizen that wants to make a request to AESA electronically and doesn't know which procedure is or is not implemented yet can use the general procedure. By following this strategy, we were able to provide an interactive service to the citizens even when the COVID pandemic hit Spain. We were also able to implement remote work for around 1,000 employees in a few days. As we continue to provide services online, the amount of data associated with those services is growing. We are making use of that data for analysis and decision making through the Microsoft Power BI platform by building reports and dashboards that allows the organization to make data-driven decisions and employ its resources in a more efficient way. All of the IT initiatives are framed in the IT strategic plan, which is aligned with AESA's main strategy for all the organization. The evolution of the strategic initiatives and projects is reported periodically to the Board of Directors with the help of key performance indicators in several dashboards. All projects are managed in a single system for project management, which is reviewed periodically by using dashboards built in Power BI. There is a scaled agile framework in place to allow the organization to request new features in the systems and applications. The requests are processed by 6 different development teams that perform an agile methodology to implement these requests. All requests from the organization are handled through a service catalog, therefore providing a single channel for all the organization. AESA developed a system that allows electronic authentication and signature for foreign citizens that don't have access to the Clave platform. This system has not been released yet. Some repetitive tasks are handled by a robotic process automation system, alleviating the workload on AESA staff. Chatbots are being designed and deployed to help citizens find the service or procedure that fits their needs. The first instance of the chatbot will be deployed in the procedures related to unmanned aircraft systems. A mobile application will be developed to provide citizens with a friendly interface to access the documents issued for them by AESA and perform different tasks. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope the presentation has been interesting for you.